My heartbeat parasite. My heartbeat parasite.
Good evening, Vigo's Court. How are you guys doing today? I am your judge for the evening, Judge Shep, and I am joined today by the wonderful, the beautiful, the magnificent Counselor Q.
What it do? What it do? It's Friday. Well, I know it's Saturday for you. Friday for a lot of us,
Friday.
though.
Close enough.
So we're closing out the week, and we're getting ready to move into a nice busy weekend over here on Vigo's Court. We've got a really good matchup here.
Yeah, we are going to be watching Deadheads face off against We Overslept, and what is sure to be a very exciting match. I know both teams have been working really hard, so I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens this game.
Yeah, I think things should be getting a little spicy. I do see that our survivors are seeming to be very, very on top of things, so I know they're going to want us to be on top of things. So let's talk about the map itself that we're actually going to be going to today.
Yeah, let's talk about it, you guys. All right, so our map for today is going to be the Thompson House, one of our Cold Wind Farm maps. It has a 9,728 square meter map. It has a 7-hook minimum and a 12-hook maximum. It is a Deadheads home. Not a lot of hooks on this map, you guys, but also not too large a map, kind of one of our more medium-sized maps. But you know, everyone hates corn blinds, so...
Yeah, going to be interesting. I feel like when you talk about the corn maps, it is probably the one map that has the most. I feel weird saying like line of sight, but you have a lot of sight, like free sight lines in the middle of the map compared to some of your other like corn maps, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, what do you think are some of our options? Excuse me, are some of our options as far as killer? Thank you. Hopefully I muted that in time. No? Okay, sorry.
You're right. All right, so options for killers. I think what we're going to see today, I think Plague has proven to be a really good pick for these kinds of maps. So I'm thinking we might have some potential to see a Plague. I know we were just talking about Plague too. Huntress, I don't think is like a great choice for the corn map, so I don't know if we're going to see any of the ranged killers today.
Well, unfortunately, if we are going to be seeing a Plague, it will be at least in the second or the third game, as We Overslept has actually already used both of their Plague picks. They're actually the only team who has already consumed the Plague completely.
You are correct there. They have consumed Plague. They've also consumed Huntress, which is what I was thinking about too. I was checking out our killer usage list. So they're a little low on some of those options.
I'm wondering if maybe here you could see a Cenobite maybe come out. I mean, I always feel I like the addition of the Cenobite now being in competitive. I mean, we have seen a couple of teams actually completely consume Cenobite. Otherwise, most teams have stayed away as far as this season play and as far as full play right now. But I do feel like as far as in competitive play overall, I feel like Cenobite really offers something that's different by adding in, a lot of the killers have picked up the spawn points of the box, trying their best to kind of keep the team in a constant chain hunt, which adds a whole other dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Cenobite has proven to be like a top tier killer in comp, but I definitely think the pressure that he puts out with the box and the chain hunt, I think add a lot of viability for him in comp. So I think every time he's come out, it's been at least a decent performance to watch. I've never been disappointed by seeing a Cenobite. So I think that's actually definitely probably a really good, especially with the corn. You get a lot of information if you pick up that box first.
I see though we got a lot of people readying up. Should we just go ahead and see what D's bringing out here on the killer side?
Yeah, I do believe we are ready for you to switch on over. So let's get this game started. And
look at that. 5 minutes after the hour. We're on the ball today.
I love to see it. Love to see that both teams are eager, just as eager as us, to get this game started.
All right, we'll go ahead and make sure they are good here. Now they are readying up. Of course, before we dig into how we overslept, particularly that one guy D, yes, the one that you have seen on the desk here at Vigo's before in the past, out on the killer here, before we see how that one guy D is going to be looking at putting those points up onto the board here, though, we're going to make sure that we have got all of our offerings and things in order. 1, 2, 3, 4 bloody blueprints. We've got a cut coin. Let's go ahead and talk about our killer rules here.
All right, let's do it, guys. Let's talk about it. So how does our killer, the wonderful that one guy D, earn points? Well, of course, through the hooks. Your most important hook is going to be that death hook. However, your progressions are going to be worth 1 point less. So if you see some weird point things, that's why. 7th and 8th progressions are always going to be worth 1 point each, no matter what. A 4K garners you 2 extra points. Mori's, Entity Deaths, like Pyramid Head's Rite of Judgment, those are going to be the corresponding hook state plus the progression, so you don't get full points for those. However, if you let somebody bleed out, you get no points. So don't let anyone bleed out on the ground, you guys. Not very kind to you. There are 30 points available for our killer to earn today. For more on rules, check !rules in chat.
All right here, and looking at a little bit longer of a load in here. I'm really anxious to see. We've got that one guy D making his debut as far as 4. We overslept today. I thought about trying to see if I could get a spoiler in, see if he can give me a little insider tip, and I was like, nah, you know what? I'll go ahead and find out at the same time as everyone else. I do really like the idea of a Cenobite here, though. There we are. We are now loaded in here, so let's go ahead and get swapped on over.
Ooh.
I really like this play. Yeah, we did not talk about this at all. Actually, opting to bring in the Oni-chan, and I really like this play here. One thing will be worth to kind of keep an eye on. Oni does tend to struggle a little bit in the early game. That one guy D does bring a lot of experience, especially even not only just speed running like pub matches, but even competitive play. So might be able to get an early hit here. We have been able to locate the Nia back here. Oh, and if you don't have sprint burst, you're not going to be able to make it to that pallet. Yeah, that's going to be an early M1 there, which is now going to slowly start feeding into that power of Oni-chan. And Oni-chan is one of those, like I said, tends to struggle in the early game, but he does have one of the highest power spikes in the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get enough blood collected in the early game, you snowball magnificently as the Oni. So it looks like that one guy D is setting himself up very nicely here.
Yeah, we are still taking chase over here towards this portion of the map. We are now at this point about 45 seconds left on our corrupt intervention here. Now popping our power here. We have that one guy D running around with a big old club. He's super angry here. Was looking to try and break the pallet, I think, with the power there. Unfortunate swing and miss, which is going to cause a little bit of extra time to be added here, but now going to be trying to track these scratch marks. This is where we sometimes see with Oni kind of can be difficult as far as in tighter areas. Now going to be using the power to kind of select some other areas, trying to get the flick onto the Lori here. That is also not going to find the target. This is going to be another pallet broken, though.
Yeah, definitely at least doing a good job of getting rid of those resources, pushing people off of their generators. Ooh, still not quite, and that will be our first gen done for the game.
Oh, but you are able to get the down onto Mr. Beautiful over here. Now here's where things can get a little interesting. We are probably going to be seeing Mr. Beautiful going up onto a hook back here in the deep corner of the map, right next to the generator that was covered up by that deadlock. So you are going to be able to protect, well, one of the 2 gens that have the most progress, because we are going to see a second gen actually now getting covered as well from that deadlock, because a second generator is getting complete. Also worth noting, you'll see when we look around, the survivors have already actually done a very good job as far as the pressure of which generators they're doing. I think they've taken care of one on the top side and one on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, the survivors doing a good job of trying not to do themselves a disservice by 3 genning here, which is very easy because sometimes you get a really weird gen spawn on this map.
We are seeing a couple of orbs off in the distance that one guy D is going to go ahead and leave there for a collection for later. We have also seen a full reset as far as from our survivors. I believe what we might be seeing from our survivors is seeing what kind of commitment that one guy D has, because you could have gotten some more gens with that 120 seconds of hang time. We are going to see a potential solo save moving in. A lot of patience, able to get it though, avoid the grab, and you are trying to get a body block probably from a borrowed time, not going to be able to get that there. And now you've given up some extra time. You might actually allow a second down here. Oh, but you do get the hit right before the pallet, which is also still while you have a little bit of borrowed time left.
Yeah, definitely not risking getting a stun there. I'm just going to slap her and send her on her way as we go back to pick up baby Katie. Katie Hades here. That was a different name of it. I'll say. My bad.
Yeah, but now we are going to see at this point, still haven't noticed a gen come across, which does mean that probably the two survivors that we did not see in that exchange at the hook, being Kashak and Disciple, will probably both be on two separate gens, meaning we're getting close on two, maybe even trying to do the 99 tech to avoid the deadlock as well. We are now working back here at Cowtree though. Ooh, I didn't even realize though we do have the Thirst Trap Felix out. Much respect from Kashak here, running probably my favorite skin right now.
The best gift that behavior could have given us. We finally got our shirtless Felix, guys. That deadlock once again, locking down this gen by Cowtree that we just saw Kashak playing around.
Yeah, we did see that save coming across the way as well. That was before a second stage was forced. So you do have two fresh hooks. But honestly, Felix being really patient, doing a very good job playing around Cowtree here, and just being able to get as much value out of this loop as possible. D not quite able to get a hit down with the power. Now will be knocked out of the power, however. And, you know, now with three survivors up, probably cranking these gens here. Oh, you probably should have dropped that pallet. I don't think you get back around. Oh, gets done, stupid. Plus 10 wood to the face. And that should probably allow our Felix to build distance and probably head back towards Shaq.
Yeah, it looked pretty spicy there. We are going to see a dry kick come in on this generator here.
Yeah, now we are...
Felix, yeah, just took off running.
Yeah, and we are actually... We saw a very fast reset onto Felix as well. You'll actually see on the left side of the screen already healed. That is redonkulous. And we're going to see a fourth generator getting done as well. Our survivors here right now from Deadheads have shown up to play today, and we are now taking a chase here with Nia. I do believe that would be one of our fresh survivors, so that is setting yourself up for some potential extra points in the end game, because you would rather get one of those two fresh hook survivors right now.
Absolutely. Those fresh hook survivors are going to be worth more points, even with if he ends up getting progressions on them.
And I do like this idea. We are seeing Disciple taking this chase and trying to bring that one guy D back into this corner of the map, kind of away from the rest of the objective. We are going to see an early pallet throw. Nice vault as well. Kind of interesting to see that one guy D come and kick the pallet on this side. I feel like he kind of zoned himself out there, allowed Disciple to build a little bit of extra distance that wasn't really needed. Luckily though, Disciple's a ninja.
Yo, just disappeared. Straight up gone.
I think I had actually seen scratch marks go back towards the actual jungle gym. I'm not sure if maybe that was like a quick and quiet play, possibly, because I did see scratch marks back in the jungle gym itself. But that was amazing. Now that means that one guy D coming back to this side of the map with no real pressure at the moment. We do have two survivors back here on this portion. That's kind of unfortunate. Oh, and a swing and miss at the window here as well. That one guy D probably feeling some pressure here as we have nobody injured in only two hook states, ending into what will probably be the end game very shortly.
Yeah, I have a feeling, my spidey senses are tingling that the survivors here probably have a gen pretty close to done. I'm assuming it's going to be this one next to us.
Yeah, we see that there's a lot of progress on this gen, but honestly, we haven't been up on the top side of the map in some time, so I wouldn't be surprised too if there's some survivor up in the actual Thompson house itself. But I feel like here, maybe what you have is your survivors knowing that they're in a very good state, hook state-wise, and maybe even taking some extra time to comb through the corm to make sure you've got all of your totems. Oh, but we're actually seeing a 5th gen getting popped, and we do indeed see that status on the right side there. That is going to be that no one escapes death, but we're also going to see the no way out proxying as well. So we do have a little bit of time left here. Honestly, a really good time to pop your power for that one guy D to be able to have that one shot down to be available to you, as well as to be able to close the gap while in your power here. And now we have taken chase again with our Felix here, and oh, a swing and a miss again. Nice tracking by Felix here in the TNL.
Yeah, definitely nice job of him too. Oh no! Oh no! Ace, no!
Not like this, getting caught trying to come
Not
in.
like
I think
this.
possibly for protection. You still have some extra scratch marks here. This means you could really be possibly forcing or sending over some extra hook states over to that one guy D, which is really what you would not want to do if you're deadheads, because you have played a very, very darn good survivor side of the trial thus far.
Yeah, definitely. This is not a position you want to be in, especially with a hook that is really nicely placed for D here.
We are going to see that one of the doors is open. I do not believe it is the one that is this close to the door here. Yeah, you're actually going to see it opened across the way. Not sure if we still have somebody over in this corner, as we had the Felix over here at one point. But I do believe that this is going to be that one guy D, just making sure that you confirm this out. That will be a progression on the death hook, which is kind of unfortunate because that is the hook that generally rewards you the most points. And here, you're actually going to be losing that point because it is a progression there in the end game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little unfortunate for our killer there, but a very tight game played by our survivors.
Yeah, I feel like our
They
survivors...
really were not messing around.
Yeah, I feel like our survivors did a very, very good job there of just being on top of the objective work from the word go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I feel like when you look at it, you could say maybe there was a couple chases that maybe was like a mistake or two. But I feel like that's just, I mean, really just Deadheads kind of showing the strength of their survivor side right there.
Deadhead's definitely shown that they have a really good idea of how to work the map, which you would like expect from someone playing on their home map. Especially in that cow tree area, which I think is just like a difficult area to navigate as a killer, especially when your power is like Oni's is. Not a lot of easy control when you're in that demon dash, so probably not the ideal place to be using your power.
Yeah, it's just kind of an unfortunate series of events, because once you pop the power and you do get a chase that takes you over there, like, what do? While you're in your power, go hope that you find someone? Or, you know, we saw what D did there, which was try to make a play. Unfortunately, just a very, like you said, a very tough loop to work around. And honestly, hats off to the Felix. One, for giving us the pleasure of seeing that Felix in comp gameplay with the thirst trap. And two, for some very impressive looping.
Yeah, definitely. Some very, very good, but very patient looping. I like that little, like, going behind the wall and just knowing that Oni really can't make that turn very easily, so just waiting. Just sticking myself in a safe corner. Yeah,
a couple of good tucks to prevent those hits there. And now what's going to be interesting to see here is going to see how We Overslept responds on the survivor side, right? I mean, you can look at the score. I mean, we're looking at, I mean, the score's not the closest you would want it to be, but it's not like out of control either, right? Now on the survivor side, you can come in and take things into your hands, but what you need to do is make sure that your first couple of chases in this next trial kind of go the way that one did, which is extending them as long as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we've seen anything, it's that the We Overslept survivors are fairly strong. So I'm sure if they're going to try to make an attempt to come back, this is where we're going to see it.
So what's your thoughts as far as we're now going to be seeing Deadheads coming out on the killer side? Do you think we see, as far as killer options, as far as Deadheads? I mean, they do have, I don't think you bring out Blight, but I mean, you still have some good options available. I feel like they've got a pretty wide spread, but, you know, you talked about Plague being a good option. Plague's available. I had talked about before Cenobite being available. No, you have used Huntress once for Deadhead, so you would be making the decision to consume them if you want. Or, I mean, maybe bring Hillbilly to be able to close the gap and get some quick downs. But I feel like you're in a good lead, so I'm not sure if maybe you reach for a fast down killer like that. What's your thoughts?
Deadheads has a lot of really good options available to them still. They have not used Plague at all. They haven't used Wraith at all either, which I've seen used pretty well in the corn maps before. They still have all uses of Spirit left. They can't meet Oni for Oni, unfortunately. They still have a lot of good options here, though, I think. So, yeah, like I said, I think Plague is a really good option for this map. We've seen Wraith perform pretty decently on corn maps.
Maybe
I
even
would really
Nemesis
like to
with
see
some
Xenobite.
a little bit of extra tracking with the zombies, maybe?
Yeah, Nemesis would also be a good option. Those zombies scare me in the corn sometimes. I'm like, yo, where'd you come from?
Trudeau. They
That's what
do
I'm
be
like,
ninjas sometimes.
They do be ninjas sometimes. Yes. Very, very sneaky people.
Let me get a quick invite to, I guess that'd probably be Maelstrom, I guess, right? For the survivors.
Should
We'll
be.
get
Should
them
be.
in here. I do already see that we've got Deadhead's killer in here. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just a very... I feel like when you look at the survivor side, it just seemed that they always knew where the closest strong loop was, right? Whether it be Shack, whether it be over at Cowtree. And I think that's the important thing when you see, especially a killer like Oni, where you know the one-shot potential is there. You want to make sure that you have the best resources at your tool to prolong the chases, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Sorry, we had a scoring discrepancy that I was taking care of. Yeah, I'm so sorry. My brain is peanuts this morning. It's a little early for me, guys. But
It's okay.
yeah.
To be fair, you're also scorekeeping while we normally have a scorekeeper available in the back, but because of some scheduling conflicts and things, you know.
I'm wearing very many hats today.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Thank you guys for putting that in chat. I did notice I had forgot to click the match completed button. So you guys are right. This is the correct score here.
So now it's 19-8 is the current score. So now we're talking
Yes.
Okay, so 11 points as opposed to 8 points, but I mean, still manageable. I think the big thing here, again, for We Overslept is you've got to come into this trial and like just make sure that you've got a game plan, you know, and
Absolutely.
sticking to it.
I think We Overslept is probably sitting there looking at the points being like, okay, what do we need to do to catch up here? What do we need to deny? What can we give up and still come out okay here? Ideally, they want to take the lead back, but I think if they can at least close the gap to within a couple of points, that would still be the best situation for them. Considering this is only match 2 and they will have another survivor trial after this.
And it is also kind of interesting and worth noting here. So this is a chance for We Overslept to maybe build a little bit of momentum after getting their first win of the season last week. But also, as far as when you look at Deadheads, they are also in the same situation, looking to kind of string some wins together and maybe still make a little run for the postseason. So both kind of standing in each other's way, looking in very like similar situations to how the first 5 weeks went.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's why we're going to see some really good matches today too, because you're right, these teams both have something to gain here, especially as we are about at our halfway point. So this is where it really starts getting down to the wire, and I don't think either of these teams can really afford a loss at this point.
Yeah, especially because we have talked about in the past how that margin for error at the top is still very, very small because we have a couple of teams, I think we still have a team in each division that's undefeated, at least in each conference. I'm not sure on each division. But the list is narrowing, but even still, there's a couple of, 1 and 2 loss teams. So if you're one of these teams, you really need to string them together. So, right now, the pressure definitely being on We Overslept, knowing that that's the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely agree with you there. So knowing that, does that change your opinion on what kind of killers they might bring out for this game? On the Deadhead side?
I mean, I still think maybe whatever your original intention was for game 2 here, for trial 2, you probably bring it. But if you have the ability to put up here's the thing that you can help yourself with if you are Deadheads. If you can come out with whatever because you probably were bringing out 2 very strong choice of killers, knowing that that was your situation. So because your survivors came out and had a very good performance, if the killer can now come out and have a very strong performance to back that, maybe you can save your second killer for a game later down the line, knowing that you needed to have like all wins, right?
Absolutely. I think that's kind of like the plan we've seen before for you know, the first killer match, or being the second match, whoever goes into the back-to-back killer trials, is the teams kind of like going along with whatever game plan they had set to try to set themselves up for success. And then in the second back-to-back killer match, that's when we see them kind of play around. That's when we kind of see like some fun picks or some odd picks, because they've kind of at that point they kind of know where they're standing and what they need to do to confirm the win. So I think you're probably right. We'll see whatever they were planning on bringing here, and then if it's going to get spicy, it's going to get spicy in game 3.
Now, I do see we've got at least all the survivors ready here. Are we good to switch over and let these 2 teams duke it out in trial number 2?
I am checking right now, but I think we might just be ready.
All right, I see the killer is also ready up as well.
Yep,
so I am
we
going
are
to
ready.
Assume that they have double and triple checked their builds. We'll go ahead and let them load in. We're going to make sure again that we have all of our offerings here and everything. And now heading into this trial, we overslept. We talked about it, really having the pressure on them going into the back-to-back trials here to really need to start the comeback. So once we make sure that we have all of those offerings, we will talk about how they're looking to surmount that comeback as far as how to put points on the board as far as the survivor side. But, you know, the connecting to others thing and the connecting screens and all of that when it comes to DBD. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 bloody blue point, cut coin. Let's talk about some of these survivor rules here.
Let's talk about it, you guys. All right, how do our survivors for We Overslept make up this point gap? Let me tell you. The generators are going to be very, very important, of course. That's how you get the exit started. That's how you get the heck out of here. However, what is going to garner our survivors the most amount of points is going to be those escapes, because your first escape is worth 1 point and the second is worth 2 points. But your third escape is worth 4 points, and that fourth escape is worth a whopping 6 points. As well, if you can escape with 2 or more hook states remaining, so 1 hook or less, you will also get an additional point per survivor who makes that escape without the extra hook state, or with the hook states available. There are 26 points available for our survivors to earn here. For more on our rules, please check !rules in chat.
All right. And of course, in true behavior fashion, we are going to be seeing a little bit more of a load time, knowing that the anticipation is on here. But I promise you, chat, as soon as we can switch off of the Fallout looking screen here, all right, we're going to move into trial.
A little bit of Christmas snow.
All right, let's go ahead and move on in here. Ooh, I like what I'm hearing so far. And we're gonna see the Billy Boy coming out with the home field advantage here. And can I just tell you that I am a sucker for good Billy gameplay?
Same. I actually really enjoy watching Billy. I think he has not played enough. And I am really glad to see him coming out here for Deadheads brought up by Cookie. Ooh.
Yeah, +10 would apply to the face here, though, is going to allow our survivors to kind of break out of this corner. I don't know if you had noticed, kind of rotating out the right side of the screen was a Felix over here. So we did have a couple of survivors actually spawn that back corner. Also worth noting, the generator to our left does have some progress on it. Nice shot there by Cookie in order to get chaos down here really quick. We're talking about, what, 45, 50 seconds into the trial here. You've got yourself a down already. And we still have a whole 60 seconds now left on Corrupt. So Cookie in a really good spot here.
Yeah, this was a really good down for Cookie to have, especially this early in the game with Corrupt still up. He gets to now just kind of sit and watch this because there aren't very many generators the survivors can't be working on right now anyway. Oh, that's a weird Corrupt spread in my opinion.
Yeah, kind of an interesting corrupt, but I think part of that was because, if I remember right, Cookie spawned kind of center-ish of map. And now one thing here we are going to see, this is why we've seen Deadlock being a very popular pick, because now Cookie having a lot of information. Also, now there's very little that our survivors can be doing, and seeing as we track down a couple of survivors back by Shaq, we can probably assume that they're not at least working on the one here in the corner. So Cookie really setting themselves up for like almost a free camp into second stage.
Yeah, this is going to put a lot of pressure on the survivors. They kind of have to make a choice here, and I think it does look like they are going to go ahead and let Chaos go to second stage as they try to put some pressure down on these generators.
Now, it's not this is a pretty strong strategy here. However, you need to make sure, if you are We Overslept, you need to make sure that he that Cookie pays for this by at least getting 2 more gens done, preferably 3 more gens before the sacrifice. And with knowing that Deadlock is on the table, that makes this a very, very tall task. We're seeing here Cookie checking around, not really seeing anybody. So again, gonna double back to this generator that didn't have that Deadlock last time. It does look like we've located 1 survivor here, but since that is Maelstrom and they are retreating away from the hook, now Cookie just gonna come back and probably just be securing Chaos into the death state.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like we are going to see our first death here confirmed on the hook. Unfortunate for Chaos here, but We Overslept is starving Cookie here of a little bit of points by letting Chaos just progress and instead focusing on those generators.
And this is really tough. I mean, right now, if you're We Overslept, you need 2 gens right now, like popping at the same time. So you have the 99, because you just had somebody sit on hook for 120 seconds and all you got was 1 gen out of it. That's really tough. We are going to see, though, you're taking chase here at the tractor, and you're going to have a little bit of a tougher loop. But of course, most of our killers here are going to be able to avoid the tractor tech. There is that second gen, though, that is working out in your favor. But I do believe you make that through one more time. You do, of course. Oh, chilling up on the pail, though. That's a big, feels bad. You are going to be able to get the M1 there, though. But, now our survivors really got to be feeling this pressure.
Ooh, swing and a miss. Yeah, Maelstrom doing his best to buy time for his teammates. They did just pop 3 generators in quick succession. So, not too bad of a position to be in, but this is looking pretty dangerous for Maelstrom here.
Yeah, now here we are going to see not going to be able to make it to this window here. Now you can't help but wonder, are our 2 survivors, how close are they on those gens? You mentioned it. The 2 popped pretty well close to one another, but that did mean that 2 generators were covered by the Deadlock as well. We now are going to be able to control this bottom side of the map here, which is tough because if you notice, you've actually got a pretty decent 3 gen setup. There it is, actually getting broken there, though. That's going to be really big. That's a really good gen for you right there.
Yeah, nice job by Ty here, holding down the fort, getting that generator pop. Ooh, that made me a little nervous there.
Honestly, I would have loved to have seen that curve. That would have been pretty wicked. However, we're now going to see Cookie just going to take chase with our Dwight here in the TNL, and we do also see the save coming in across the way. Keep in mind, we do see that Deadlock on that, I guess you can call it like what, bottom middle gen, is covered now, just got uncovered there, and we haven't seen the reset coming in on the Fang here yet, which does make me wonder if either the 2 of them are going to be jumping on here. There is the reset now coming on to Fang. We are going to see the kick here by Cookie as well, but no pop goes the Weasel, so no help as far as the additional regression. Now a 3v1, but you can see our survivors for We Overslept have done a good job as far as spreading the pressure here, have located a survivor here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I see a Fang arm there. Oof, not an ideal situation to be in for Maelstrom, but ooh, with the jukes.
Yeah, we do have a nice little play there. Not going to be able to get the curve there with the low pro, though. However, you do have a little bit of good information. You just saw a second survivor over by where you just were. So if anybody's working on a gen, it's in this corner here. You can hear progress on the gen, but it's not much, right? So you still have a little bit of time left in this trial, but you really are needing a very quick down here.
Yeah, definitely.
Overheat.
Gonna need to quick down here, especially, yeah, oof. Especially with this gen being the one furthest away isolated, you do want to maybe get a hook by it so you can force some pressure, but maybe not the most ideal location. Luckily for Cookie here, Ty is going to bring him further into the map. Or maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think Ty's making their smart decision coming into the corner. Remember that the gen that was last covered by Deadlock was the one that is more bottom mid. And we haven't seen either survivor that was more back that way earlier in that little jungle gym. Wouldn't be surprised if they're maybe even pairing up on that gym. We are going to see Cookie making their way back across this way. Not much. Oh, no, actually, not much progress in there at all. Can't help but wonder, maybe, do we have progress on the back gen here in the shack? Yeah, we do have actually quite a bit of progress in the shack. Almost 3 pistons all the way pumping. Very well close to that 75% mark. However, ooh, nice juke.
Quick footwork here by Devour Bread. I love that name.
Now here's going to be where things get interesting, though, because obviously a very smart decision by our Claire. Well, I guess that's not actually Claire, it's the other skin, but you know what I'm talking about, chat. You know what I mean. Trying to move our killer away from it. It's going to be a 5th gen getting done, though, there. And then you're also going to notice over on the right side of the map, or right side of the screen, is that no one escapes death emblem. And now our survivors know about that as well after the down. You are going to be able to secure this in your basement here, and we'll probably be our survivors just sprinting across the map to try and get that other door open. It is right across the way from you. Might see Cookie try and make a play. Yeah, no, not now the door's open. I think he just, wait this thing out in basement.
Yeah, definitely. The smart move here is to kind of just let Devour Bread here go to death progression and take the 2 out, which will still put them in a pretty decent position as the 2 who are getting out. Ty was not hooked at all, and Maelstrom was only hooked once.
Yeah, so I mean, still doing a very good job on the survivor side here. Being able to save yourself some points, you'll notice, cut into that lead a little bit there, right? Which is the good news for us. As far as keeping a nice close matchup, I kind of was expecting this to be one of those matchups that we didn't have like a full answer on until the 4th trial. So I do like seeing that the gap has been closed a little bit here. And with the gap being closed, I imagine that probably means that our killer is just going to go ahead and continue with whatever strategy they had heading into this. Doesn't mean we have any information as far as what that killer might be. I'm still hoping for a Cenobite, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to see a Cenobite too. I think I've just grown kind of fond of like our kind of quote unquote off meta picks. So I really want to see a Cenobite. I still really like to see a Plague. I do really enjoy watching some Plague gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, if we are going to see a Plague, it would be in this next trial, not trial number 4. Again, We Overslept has unfortunately already used their Plague. Understandably so, though. Plague is a rather strong killer, not necessarily considered an S tier, but still strong nonetheless. Which I understand, getting more uses out of her. I do feel like you had said, though, could be a good pick for this map. Again, still, when we're looking at as far as usage for deadheads themselves, I mean, we do still have some other options. I don't think they use the Huntress, though, because you don't want to expire her, but I don't know. Maybe now that you have a little bit of lead, what's your thoughts about like even coming in with like say a Cannibal and getting yourself an early elimination, then securing one late game?
I think a Cannibal could be an okay pick on this map. As long as you can play efficiently, it is a little bit of a larger map. And if the survivors stay out of that corn, there's a lot of like really weird looping areas, especially in that Thompson house. If they can use that well, they can kind of avoid that chainsaw in there. But a good Cannibal would not be a bad pick for this map.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely have a lot on the table, and I am going to real quick. I realize I had my friends list open. There we go. I'm going to close that real quick.
Whoops.
But yeah, and also, you had mentioned before, Spirit might not be a bad pick for either, especially seeing as I feel, I know you and I have had this conversation even like live on the desk, but I feel like a lot of people are seeing that the Spirit isn't quite where she used to be. I don't know. I like this map though because you do have some options.
Yeah, I like that this map doesn't really quite lock you into what is good to bring on this map like some of our other, I'm saying the word map a lot, but like some of our other map selections that we are using this season, you're not quite restricted to what you can bring by size or obstacle. So I like that we have a lot of options, but I kind of hate it because I can't really make good predictions.
Yeah. Now, in case we had anybody that maybe just tuned in towards the end of that trial and just saw corn, they know that we're on the corn map, don't know exactly what map we're on. Let's go ahead and talk about it since we're at halftime.
Yeah, let's talk about it. All right, guys. So if you missed it when we talked about it for the first time, or if you are just tuning in, we are on Thompson House. It is 9,728 square meters with a 7-hook minimum and a 12-hook maximum. So not a lot of hook economy there, but that's all right. It's not too large of a map anyway.
Yeah, sometimes we have seen in the past in competitive where Thompson House is being used on, especially there for, like I say, Billy and DBE while we have the D-Sync and McMillan. Even though it has the lower hook economy, it's not like some of our maps where, like, let's say a Groaning Storehouse, where sometimes you have one hook that's by a door and that's it, right? Usually you have a couple that are kind of around doors and things. So while you said lower hook count, not nearly as big of a deal here, and you talk about a lot of options open. So I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see what we end up getting. I see Clown coming up in chat, and can I just say, if there's anybody on the desk that would love to see some Clown, preferably some Santa Clown, seeing as we're 8 days away from Christmas, I'm the one to do it. I love my humongous humorous friend. However, I don't think we see that come out as a pick here.
Yeah, we have seen Clown on a corn map before. I don't know if it was this corn map, but we have seen Clown come out on a corn map, I believe, this season in our preseason. But I don't know if this is the pick if you want to sustain any sort of lead. Because I think with Clown, you can't really, unfortunately, as much as we love our Clowny boy, I don't think you can really guarantee more than a 2K here against a decent team.
Now, while we have a second, and you know, we talked before the matchup about how, like, we've seen Plague more because the changes to Plague and the recent buff. And now we're talking about Clown. And I feel like when we talk about all the killers that have gotten reworks lately, like, Joke's kind of got, or the Clown's got to be sitting on the sideline. Like, am I a joke to you, right? Like, I got yellow gas. Cool, I can go across the map fast sometimes, I guess. But, like, of all the reworks, he kind of feel like he got the short end of the stick, didn't he?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes behavior is on with their reworks, and sometimes they are just a little bit off, and then sometimes they are way off. I think Clown and Deathslinger both kind of just got the short end of the stick for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who enjoy playing both, so I don't really know why they would kneecap themselves and be like, we're just gonna make them actually worse.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds good. A+. A+.
Well, like, it's one thing when you look at, say, Spirit, right? Like, I think a lot of her changes were kind of justifiable. She felt pretty strong, you know, even in pubs, especially in pubs, I would say, when there's no comms or anything. And so I think, like, when you look at her, some of her changes were justified. But when you look at, like, Clown, I don't feel like really got any, like, they changed the reload speed. And some people will say they made it to where his holding the bottle didn't slow him down, but that was actually before the rework that changed. Really, the only thing that changed the rework was the yellow smoke and the yellow cork add-on became his base kit. Like, that was it.
Yeah, not really doing Clown a lot of favors there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like for some reason, Clown. Well, I think we have a lot of killers too who just are overlooked. They did, like, the Ghostface. I mean, you all know that I'm a Ghostface fan if you haven't seen the back of my setup here. The Ghostface, like, add-on rework was really bad. Deathslinger was just nerfed into the ground. They have done Clown no favors whatsoever by any means ever. Just, like, we've seen some really interesting choices. Spirit got nerfed, which you are right. I think some of it was justified, but as we go on, it feels a little harsh on her. But then, like, Trickster got buffed into hell. Like, I hate playing against Trickster now.
I still
when
feel like
he
he's
used to
one of
not be
those
so
that's
bad.
like he's strong though in the solo queue though, right? Like I feel like though against
Yeah.
comp or not even just comp, just like teams that have communications, he's definitely like the Wish version of Huntress. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, not the budget Huntress. Budget Huntress. Yeah. He's still, yeah, I think you're right. He's not like strong against a Swift, but in solo play with no comms, probably where you're gonna see him shine the best, especially with like his hook denial, like the rescue denial that he can put down is still pretty damaging.
Yeah.
With no way to coordinate well about that.
Now I was.
Also the Wraith nerf. I was just thinking about that. They didn't do
Oh,
Wraith
okay.
any favors either.
I just realized I was in this weird state in the game where I wasn't actually in the killer role, but I wasn't in the survivor role or the spectator role. That was really strange.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's not a. It's a. What is it? It's a feature, not a bug.
It's a feature.
fine.
You know, I liked it because I
It's
saw
a
I
feature,
didn't
it's a
I didn't
feature.
have the ability to ready up, so they probably wouldn't have had the ability to ready up. And I was looking at that, I was like, why is that a thing? And then I realized that it was because I never. That was really strange. Yeah, I don't know. But you know, now heading into trial 3 here, right? We're talking about looking at what a 9-point difference. So you've closed the gap a little bit, but really, you would like to this trial. I feel like on the survivor side, maybe bring this to within 5 if possible.
You know, I think We Overslept could make a run for it here. We did see a pretty decent performance from them last game. Even with an early elimination, which was really unfortunate, they were still able to put down a lot of pressure, get those stuns done, and get 2 people out with the bonus point for escaping with 1 or less hook states. So I think We Overslept could make a run for it here and close that gap even further.
I think the big thing though for We Overslept is knowing that even though you get like cut into the lead a little bit, you still have a really big task ahead of you, and you don't want to feel like you don't want to celebrate the small victories too much. You know what I mean? Like you're still definitely very much behind the 8 ball. Yeah, you have like the fact that you're going into the killer set last, so you do know that you have the ability to earn more like points that way, but I feel like we've seen a very strong survivor performance from Deadhead, so I wouldn't want to rely on that in the end, right?
Yeah, I think definitely can't relax just yet if you're We Overslept by any means. Closing the gap was good, but they still have a long way to go with 2 more trials left. Especially because I think we've seen it before where most teams are good on one side or the other, either survivor or killer, and I think We Overslept is stronger on their survivor, so they really need to hit the gas here and then hope that they can keep up the momentum into their final killer game. But it does look like everybody's going to be ready here. So if you want to switch on over
Let's
to the
switch
good old
on over.
switcheroo.
Let's do it. I'm here for it. I'll let them know also. And
All right.
yeah, it's interesting. I feel I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. I feel like with the spirit changes, I feel like when you look at comp, even though you haven't seen Nemesis and Cenobite coming out too heavy, they've had pretty good performances when they do come out in comp. I feel like the artist, there we go. I was forgetting her actual name for a while. Is going to be in a good spot when she's released into comp. I feel like we might be seeing a slow shift in like the mid meta. I still think Nurse and Blight have their spot like at the top, but
Yeah,
kind of like
locked in.
what falls in behind them and seems to be changing a lot over these last couple months. I still think has a little bit more to do.
Yeah, I definitely think with the artist coming out and with her perks, I don't think her perks are going to be like too useful, but I think her power is really well suited for zoning and I mean, she's an anti-loop killer. So I think she's going to be an interesting addition, and I think as we continue to see changes, that meta will continue to shift the way we have seen it going so far.
1, 2, 3, 4 bloodied blueprints. We've got a cut coin as well. While we load into this trial, let's kind of talk about some of the things we got going on as far as balancing and some of our rules and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about it, you guys. All right, so What is and is not allowed in Vigo's Court? Let me tell you. You can have yellow items and add-ons or below only, but you can only have one of each perk and item. People at VT, however, is allowed. Please go save your friends. Don't do what they did to Chaos. See if you can help it, you know? Banned perks, things that you will not see, Built to Last, Prove Thyself, and Starstruck are not allowed here. You will also not see Haunted Ground, Lethal Pursuer, Boons, or Clairvoyance. We're not going to make it that easy on anyone here. Killers used are limited to twice per season. Survivors are also limited though. Don't worry, we kept it fair. They cannot have more than one of each character, so I'm so sorry. No 4 Dwarves, 1 Locker. RIP in many ways. Violations are subject to penalties. For more on our rules, check exclamation mark rules in chat. You know what to do.
Oh, right. And you know what? Behavior knows that we're on the edge of our seat here and want to know what we're going to be seeing as far as a killer in this next trial. They know that we've got an 8-point deficit for We Overslept looking to overcome here. Again, coming out on the survivor side. I was going to say, waiting a while for a load in, but here we go. Let's get down to it. And I like this pick coming out here. One that I feel like, I don't know if we mentioned at all, but we're going to be seeing a very shocking pick here on the killer, which is going to be the doctor.
Yeah, I think this is actually a really good pick up. A lot of information, a lot of control here. So definitely not a bad pick if you are trying to maintain where you are sitting.
And you can build yourself in a little bit of extra slowdown, right? As far as if you can get a couple of people batshit crazy, need them to like re-scramble their brains, you know, you have a little bit of time there. You also have a little bit of extra tracking through the corn with your illusions and stuff as you tier people up as well. So I really like this pick here, especially considering the map. The more that I think of, like kind of talk through it in my head, even though I didn't think about the doctor at all, honestly, but we are going to see taking a really early chase here. We're also going to be seeing Chaos moving in for a protection hit relatively early. We're also going to hear a blown skill check. If I had to guess, that was just one of those unfortunate, hey, I know you need to get off the gen, so here's a skill check for you, homie. But we're going to see the nice protection hit from Chaos
nice
here,
from
which is going to allow this chase to go even longer. But I like that. Did you see what Kashad just did there? Knew that there was a blown skill check. I think was trying to see if there was a survivor still on that gen and was going to try and still spread even more pressure there.
Yeah, good awareness on Kashek to check behind him, knowing he heard a generator back there, and even using that static blast to confirm that they were pushed off of that generator there.
Yeah, I like that because you have the option to, hey, you know, maybe if I can get one more person injured, if that means that's 2 people elsewhere on the map that need to get healed, that's a big feels good for me. We are going to see another protection hit coming in from our survivors here. We Overslept doing a very good job of rotating in towards wherever Kashak here does. Is it Kashak? Kashak? You seem to pronounce it better.
I think it's Kashak.
Kashak?
The last time, Chat yelled at me about this one last time, and I still don't know. I think it's Kashak.
All right, well, I'm calling him. Well, our homie K out here on the killer is going to be chasing Dwight here towards the TNL. It's still really looking to secure the first down here. Our survivors doing a really good job, honestly, rotating around, making sure that you are getting those protection hits. Not going to be seeing a protection hit, however, coming on to Ty here. So this is going to be a down. The Corrupt has been off of the gens for quite some time, though, so wouldn't be surprised to see a generator getting complete soon. But at the same time, our survivors have taken a lot of body blocks, so they had to reset as well.
Yeah, we did just see a full reset coming in for all of our injured survivors, and we do actually find 2 of them over here, which is unfortunate.
Also finding a gen sounds like past that 50%, almost a 75% mark, and not a surprise to see Chaos now taking this chase away from that gen, away from the unhook as well. Nice awareness here. Also trying to break away from this corner here, so you're not wasting any sort of pallets or anything by your generators. I think a lot of really good map awareness showing there. We are going to try and work a bigger tile here. Well, I say bigger as far as in comparison to some of the other tiles around here. Trying to see if maybe we can get the rotation before the shock, but really good use by Kashak there to go ahead and eliminate the pallet throw and also secure it down. And I believe that's going to be a second fresh hook state and only 2 gens complete thus far.
Yeah, Kashak doing a really good job of maintaining a lot of pressure. We just saw the unhook, and he was already getting another survivor down. We do see Genlock on the dead. Genlock. We do see Deadlock on this generator right next to our hook as well, so we know that this has the most progress right now.
And we did see that shock to send out another wave to tear some people up. It looks like we triggered one. We do have 2 people that are a stage away from tearing up to that level 3 madness, which will require a little bit of time to de-scramble the brain and not be working on gens and things like that. You talked about still being able to patrol the area over here where you have a gen that has the most progress. Actually, I think, do we still have the house gen? We do still have the house gen. Still actually have a really good 3 gen set up in this corner of the map. Now taking a chase with the David here, going to be able to get the at least the health state change. Would not be surprised to see, is it Kashak here? Kashak here actually now moving towards the backside. We are going to see the down onto Chaos, but a really quick down on the Ty. Ty was the survivor that was hooked earlier, so now Ty will be just 1 hook state away from being removed from the trial once they are actually confirmed here. And that's going to be big because anybody who plays this game knows that the strategy really changes once it becomes a 3v1. But we are going to see a 3rd gen getting complete. And with that 3rd gen complete, it did cover up the same gen, so not much progress on the remaining gens right now.
Yeah, or I'm wondering if, because Deadlock has become such a common perk to CN Comp, I'm wondering if they're keeping that gen just kind of like really far progressed, so that as they pop other gens, this is the one that they're losing.
Yeah, but you'll notice there that one isn't too far. So I don't know. It is kind of interesting because you talked about, we have seen some people trying to play around the Deadlock as well. You talked about trying to keep somebody in an area thinking that is protected. We do now have a body block coming in back here by the Dwight, coming in here from Devour Bread there, who is going to take the M1. Now going to have to move on here. But now, after the M1 has been dropped, Kashak is going to be closing the distance onto the David here. I do not believe David will be able to make it to this window. That will be a down. Now the question is Ty the one with the decisive strike here? Now up onto the shoulder you go, and that is going to be an elimination on the Ty. 3 gens still intact here as well. You'll be able to give a shock over here to be able to protect your 3 gen and get some information as well.
Yeah, we definitely, and we have a pretty gnarly 3 gen back here. I mean, it is like house gen inside of that, so if they can get in there and try to take care of that, that might help them out a little bit. But not like an ideal gen setup for our survivors right now.
Yeah, now unfortunately you are able to locate Devour Bread, your 1 survivor who is injured. You do have a pallet here, but unfortunately the doctor has the ability to prevent you from getting that pallet knocked over here. We are going to see the pickup. I do not hear anybody around, so no pallet save here as well. You are going to have a hook between 2 of the 3 gens in your 3 gen setup, and if I were Kashak here, I would probably go check on the generator up in the actual house itself, because you could have a really nice 3 gen in this corner.
Yeah, this is going to be really good if, well, I guess, the survivors did the checking for Kashak here. I think I've said his name different every single time I've said it this game. I'm so sorry.
Hey, that means we've said it at least once. That's all that matters, baby.
Yeah, at least we have said it right at least once.
But we are going to see Maelstrom here now taking the hit. Now you talked about, you found out somebody was up here, but look at this gen. Not even 50% yet. Also going to be breaking this door down here, which does make it a little bit easier to get there. Now going to be noticing the unhook over here. So it's going to be doubling back, using the static blast here to get yourself your information. You now know that all 3 survivors are at least over here. The 1 did retreat, Maelstrom, after the hit. But now it makes it a very easy decision to come back to the corner over here. I'm actually kind of surprised to see that Devour Bread didn't leave this area, as they did just have a very hard time looping this area over here.
Yeah, we do see Bread does get that pallet down, but at what cost? This is kind of a big area to be looping, but if he kicks that pallet, it's not very safe anymore. Chaos coming in for another body block, though. We are still doing a good job of trying to protect each other here, but I'm wondering if they're wasting too much time doing that.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you definitely buy yourself some time by allowing gens to get done, but also the other thing is when you take the hit, then you also have to get reset. You have to heal, and that's lots of valuable time that you are spending doing, well, anything that's not the objective, right? We do see Kashak now coming back up here and checking on this gen up in the main building. I think it is actually still regressing from the last time that we kicked it here. So Kashak really being in a good spot as far as the late game here. Did we just...
Is that the? I think that might be the.
Oh, that's
that
the
audio
glitch where
that
it's
we were-
like-
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was like, but he didn't even move. He didn't even flinch. Yo, I would have at least like turned my head and been like, oh yeah, that's right. I sacrificed someone there. That's a really good discipline there. We did find our way back over towards Cowtree here. Now working with Chaos, who is at this point absolutely crazy here. So is going to need a little bit of a cooldown there as far as defragging his brain once he gets off of hook, if he happens to go onto a hook here. Anyways, I'm kind of assuming things there. But at this point now going towards the actual jungle gym, also hearing the vaults through the long wall here. Kind of surprised to not see, yeah, I was going to say see him retreat more towards the empty side of the map, which would have probably made Kashak continue to go back there. And now instead coming and checking in on the 3-gen.
Yeah, and we're in a pretty ugly situation for our survivors here. All 3 injured. No one's been able to reset. This is a dangerous place to be if you are we overslept.
I understand what your thought process is. Your thought process is, hey, I'm just going to play things really safe. I'm going to leave as soon as I hear a heartbeat so I don't have to worry about getting, like, hit. Oh, but instead we're going to see Devour Bread getting found very, very quick. What I was going to say is you can still at least constantly be putting pressure on a gens instead of having to take the time for the reset, as we do see Chaos getting healed. But now Kashak is going to be taking your hooked survivor and putting them far away from any sort of generator, really putting some extra stress onto the survivors here. We do see that the survivors got a full reset. If I had to guess, they're probably back towards the shack and probably finishing that thing off. But now definitely confirming the 3-gen over on this side of the map.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate position to be in for our survivors here to have the hook in your 3-gen. Oh, Chaos is like, I'm just gonna take this one, guys. Got it. But yeah, we were talking about how this is a pretty gnarly 3-gen. I hate how sometimes you get the Coldwind generations where it's like 5 gens all across the top, and that's so ugly. We do see they're kind of like in half of that situation. They got the 2 gens in the top right side, and they weren't really mindful of it, which is really unfortunate.
It does look like we are going to see a successful save here, at least as far as in time. We also see Chaos getting the self reset. However, Kashak here is going to finish out the tunnel out process onto Devour Bread here. We do see a body block moving in here from Maelstrom, which does mean that this is going to prolong the chase just a little bit, but we're in an area that's basically the identical of the other side that we were playing around before. Not enough of a loop to be able to get you enough distance to be able to avoid or to get shocked, make it back around and actually shut down the pallet, which is just going to result in it down here onto Devour Bread.
Yeah, Brett doing a very good job of trying to keep the doctor preoccupied long enough away from the generators. However, just didn't do quite enough. We still won't see that gen pop, and this leaves Kashak to go check on his 3-gen once more with one less survivor on the field.
Now with the Static Blast is going to be able to get a location on this survivor here. Now gonna be seeing this classic standoff almost at a 99. Now we are gonna see the kick in, which is gonna cause just a little bit of a regression there. Now makes that so you can no longer make that play. Chaos here is going to try and take chase away from the area. Oh, plus 10 wood to the face, going to be able to build a little bit of distance. But, oh, that's going to be that gen now getting done by an injured Maelstrom over here. And Maelstrom does not have very much to work with. And you'll also notice that Kashak here moving a little bit faster. And with 3 stacks of that no way out, we still have plenty of time for Deadheads here, for Kashak here, for Kashak here, for Kashak here. I'm going to make sure I say it every way so I say it right here. Has time to make sure they secure every elimination.
Yeah, definitely got himself a lot of time going while we wait for this no way out to drop. So going to use that static shock to try to root out where our lovely little Chaos is hiding.
Now, here's where things get interesting because the no way out is off the doors here. Oh, and you found your survivor. That is unfortunate. That's going to be a dead hard there. The deliverance, though, across the way.
The deli play.
You love to see that. The unfortunate thing is if you do happen to get put back up onto a hook, you did just give your killer here some extra points, but the deli was across the way, might be able to get to that door if you have wake up, maybe be able to open it in time. But, oh, man, I don't know. We're coming across here. I'm not hearing any sounds from... Oh, it's going to be last second here.
Nervous.
Oh, you're not going to be able to
No,
get it.
no.
No, that's tough. Just in time. Oh, that's going to be a down. Now, if you're
Unfortunate,
smart, you're
yeah.
going to wait out your decisive strike here as well. And just wait out this timer. And that's probably going to be a 4K. That's tough.
Yeah, that is really tough for We Overslept there. They had done a really good job of bringing it back, but Kashak had a really strong performance as our shockingly good doctor friend here, so it's going to wait out this potential DS, and it looks like it will be a 4K for Deadheads here.
A really strong performance. I mean, it's funny. We had talked, we didn't even really talk about this killer, and instead came out with a very shocking 4K here on Thompson House, bringing out the Doctor. And I like that because I feel like Doctor is one of those killers that in comp is seen as can get you some stages on the right map. Now just going to be opening the gate for, oh,
He's
that's
gonna leave.
dirty.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's dirty.
Well, yeah, it's a little rude. A little bit of a rude boy. That's all right.
He said, I'm sorry, was this the door that you were trying to open?
This right here? This door here. Okay, I see.
Here, let me help you with that. I'll go ahead and open it for you, homie. But yeah, now things are gonna be tough. We're heading into trial number 4 here, and is that with a decision already being made? Am I seeing that right?
So, I think technically,
Needs a perfect game, right?
I think because the survivors can. Well, no. Oh, but Weavertham is going to be killing now. So if he gets a perfect game,
You can allow
He
one
will
gen,
be
I think,
able-
right?
you can allow one gen.
But
You can
that's
allow
it.
one generator to be done, and that is it. So whoever kills for We Overslept here, they need a damn near perfect game. You need a 4K at 4 gens to pull this back. I don't know if I've seen crazier, but I have faith. It will
Yeah.
at least be a very good game. We Overslept knows what their win condition is, and while it is a steep win condition, I have not seen them back down from a challenge yet. I actually think We Overslept performs best under a little bit of pressure. So, we'll see. Although I haven't seen that one guy D play yet, so this will be very new and exciting for me.
Yeah, the only the only bad news. I hate to be the bearer of bad. Now I don't even remember who I should be inviting here.
Probably D, I think.
No.
No. Sorry for the survivors.
Yeah, the Mr. Beautiful.
I think Mr. Beautiful would be a good addition to getting this ball rolling.
All right, I think there is right. The bad news for you right now. The bad news for you is that if you are We Overslept, you have already used your Blight once and your Nurse once. We did talk about if either team is wanting to make a push in the playoffs, that it starts with a win here today. So do you think that means it's worth burning your last pick of an S tier? Knowing it's such a steep win condition.
So I'm looking at, I'm trying to look at, I can't read. I'm looking at who We Overslept is looking at facing for the rest of their season. I don't know if this is a place you want to use an S tier because they have some really tough matches coming up for them.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to go against the Mice. You still have to go against Demise. You still have to go against Arctic Wolves. So you definitely have a very tall task. But again, like, let's just say, for instance, Arctic Wolves. You could say, oh man, we've got Arctic Wolves in week 12, but like, if you haven't pretty much won out, I don't even know if that Arctic Wolf game is like playoff potential for you at that point, right? So like, you have to get there first, which is the tough thing. So again, it kind of circles us back to, do I use the S tier here to hopefully put us in that position? Or, I mean, what do you think? 'Cause this is tough. Like, I think the hardest thing is you have S tiers available, but if they get 2 gens done, it's done.
Yeah, this is a really tough call, I think. So I think what We Over Subs has to do here is they have to look at what is available and what is coming up in the immediate future and what losses they can still take, which at this point, I don't think it's a lot.
I see chat asking about Spirit. We Overslept does have both Spirit picks available.
Yes, We Over Subs does have Spirit
I just don't
still
know
available.
if Spirit is a killer that right now in comp you feel like gives you the potential to 4K at 4 gens. I mean, granted, there aren't very many killers that they keep.
Yeah, I think with the state that Spirit is in right now, she's just not the strongest choice for that. I mean, we've seen a 4K at 5 gens. We saw Solar Blazer just absolutely demolish somebody, another team with a Deathslinger, who is not somebody that we really considered being even good in comp anymore. So I think it's possible to do it with an off-meta pick, but you really have to, I think, play to your strengths there. Also, Solar Blazer is just kind of cracked, so.
I'm right. You know, I said I wanted to see him today, and I think he gives you your best chance of winning still if you know your box spawn, and that's going to be Cenobite. Because if you can keep a constant chain hunt going, then you can't really get gens done, right? So maybe you do like a... Because, I mean, you have to come in with a super aggressive build. I would maybe do something like a... oh, man, I don't even know if I go Ruin Undying, but I feel like probably Ruin Undying is your best bet. Ruin Undying Thana, maybe? Or Ruin Undying Forced Penance?
I think that could work. I don't know if that's going to be... I mean, like, so... with what we're talking about here, that does buy Cenobite a lot of time pushing. Like, he doesn't have to physically push the survivors off of the gens himself.
Yep.
Which buys him a lot of time, but I think there are quite a few strategies on how to deal with Pinhead on the box that kind of negate that pressure that you get. So I don't know if that is the safest bet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting here. If she was available, since I know D was doing the Ash to Eerie push with the artist after rank reset, I would say maybe bring out the artist, but obviously she's not available.
Yeah.
Listen, people do like Cenobite, okay? I know that we're on a delay, so it doesn't look like that I'm responding to that right away, okay? Cenobite's amazing, all right? The bald head is fucking beautiful. Let me tell you, all right?
No NFTs here.
So I do see we've got some survivors ready. Are we good to switch over and let D know we're good to go?
I'm waiting on confirmation from our killer, but our survivors are already.
Well, I see he's telling me he's ready, so I'm going to let him know we're ready.
All right. Yep, let's do it.
I'm
It looks like
making
everybody
an
is
executive
good to
decision.
go.
I'm excited. We are heading into Trial 4 again. It's not over. It is a very tough task, though.
Yeah, very steep win condition right now for how We Overslept.
The first 2 minutes really, I would say, decides things. Because if you can get in here and have like a very strong first down, you know, maybe if you can run, you can get yourself like an early snipe with a hillbilly. Because they haven't used hillbilly, maybe. There's all of our offerings, though. We talked last time about all of our rules and things, and contrary to belief, rules were not meant to be broken. So let's talk about what happens if we do have any rules broken and stuff.
Absolutely. Let's talk about it, guys. Please don't break our rules. Matches with penalties may be played out, may be restarted, or both. Depends on the severity of the offense and how both teams are feeling about it. to the same survivor is a penalty. We talked about it last time. A banned perk, item, or add-on is also a penalty. That is a negative 5 points and a possible restart if it affects the game too heavily. The wrong map is a negative 5 points and an auto restart. Harassing the ref, bringing players out on the roster, and technical fouls, negative 10 points, no restart. So please don't harass us. We're just trying to do our best, guys. Using an exhaustive killer is a negative 10 points and an auto restart, and delaying the game is negative 1 point for every minute past the first 5 minutes. So also don't make us wait. Don't keep us waiting. We want to see you play. For more on rules, check !rules in chat, and let's hope that Dead by Daylight doesn't make us wait any longer than necessary to see how this final game is going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested here. We are going to be seeing, again, a very tall task in order. But, you know, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be that one guy D. But I think that one guy D instead wanted to make sure that the people of Vigo's court got what they wanted.
Legion, Legion, Legion. I am very thrilled with this pick.
And a spicy build. Can't really talk about it yet. We do see the Corrupt Intervention. 3 mystery perks at this point. So that one guy D, although maybe bringing out, you know, the Legion for the people, we are going to see that he ain't playing around and coming out to play some real games.
Yeah, D about to put a lot of pressure on these survivors. Going with the early decision, he can see where 2 were with that killer instinct from his frenzy, but deciding he's just going to go ahead and get Mr. Beautiful out early if he can. Not out, down.
Yeah, we are going to see the continued process onto Leon here, onto Mr. Beautiful. Mr. Beautiful is going to be making it towards this jungle gym here. Should be able to make it towards the pallet itself. Get stunned, stupid. Plus 10 wood to the face. And I do believe we are going to see Leon, yeah, just staying here around this pallet itself, trying to stay over on this Corrupt side of this map, allowing the survivors to really work on the opposite side, as we do see the Corrupt really extending down the long side of the map. So we do know our survivors are probably on the opposite side, really spreading that pressure on the gens.
Yeah, absolutely. And D doing a good job of getting that down really quickly. However, there goes one gen, and I think, as we acknowledged before, they can really only afford to lose 1 or 2 gens there.
I do like the strategy, though, that we are seeing. We're seeing the Hex Plaything here coming out from D, which is an interesting choice, I feel like, especially because I see, is that an iridescent button, I believe? So does that still work with Hex Plaything?
Eerie Button and Hex Plaything, I don't know. Well, because Plaything, if you're in a chase,
because
maybe
it makes
it
her
doesn't.
terror radius all across the map, but like, if you don't have a terror radius, then I guess it really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, if you don't have a terror radius, it doesn't really matter, and it's just really good information for the killer.
And we are going to see here, though, we did push the one survivor away from our hook here. We have seen 3 gens complete thus far from Deadheads, really putting pressure onto those gens from the word go. We are going to see, ooh, I was going to say we were about to see the progression, but actually the save coming in just in time. Now coming back towards the shack, we are going to be seeing a hit onto the Felix here, and now looking to spread the pressure here as far as with the hits themselves. I don't think you're going to be able to get the hit before the window, but now should be able to bait Shack Pallet out. Yeah, unfortunately, weren't trying to bait it out onto your forehead. That is going to be a little bit of extra distance to be applied by our survivors here, and that is now going to be a Nia trying to hold the aggro back here at Shack.
Yeah, Nia definitely coming in through that window to try to help protect her friends there.
And we are trying to see our killer, I said our killer. Well, I mean, Nia is the entity, right? Lol. Was trying to hold our killer's attention with the flashlight clicks. Was not able to work there. There is going to be the one Hex Plaything getting broken that you have seen thus far. We are also now taking chase into the main building. Nice balanced landing play here by Haley, which is going to now going to actually move back towards Cowtree, and this is going to be a nice strong loop to work with.
Yeah, definitely Country's always been a really strong area to work around, especially with that pallet still up. Oof, and she is going to use that beautifully there.
Yeah, of course, we are going to be able to remove that pallet right away there with the vault. And now going to be able to close the distance. However, not going to be able to get to before where we block the window. But we do push our Kate back here towards our other pallet. Ooh, they're actually able to make their way back around one more time. Now should actually probably be able to make it back to the pallet. Really good run. Oh, gets done stupid. Really good run so far here by Haley Hades. All right, and we do see here we're moving around the back side. I think you're muted if you're talking, or at least I couldn't hear you, by the way.
Oops,
Yeah, but
my mic was off.
All right, wasn't sure. I saw you talking for a second, but I wasn't hearing anything. But yeah, we do see after a nice run though. That is going to be down here on. Sorry, it's down to Katie Hades. I said Haley Hades. That's funny. On to Katie Hades here. I saw Haley in chat though. But nice run there, and that's actually going to be a second fresh hook as we are getting really close to endgame.
Yeah, D doing. I'm not paranoid now that my mic isn't on. D doing a really good job of still trying to maintain some
hear you.
pressure on our survivors. Oh thank goodness. And we do see actually our unhooked survivor running into our field of view here.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because we saw them run the opposite way. I don't know if D was maybe trying to see if there was someone else in the back corner, now taking chase again with Katie Hades. No, actually, again, deciding to transfer that aggro off over onto Disciple. I do believe Disciple would be one of your fresh hooks, which is the option here as to why we're going for that there, especially since you have the Hex play thing. Try and see if you get some extra value. However, there is going to be a 5th gen getting done, and that is going to be
And
some
the
adrenaline value.
pop.
However, you will see on the right
However-
side there, they got that status.
They do have that status. Oof.
Oh,
And
broken
they
right
broke
before
it
it.
right before the hit came in. So unfortunate for that one guy D here, but that's all right. He's still gonna continue to chase Disciple. Probably chasing him out of that gate. Yeah, it looks like Leon's gonna come in for the body block here. Ooh, but he's still gonna try to. Good attempt to still try to get the cutoff there. Uh-oh.
Yeah, nice nice play by
Ooh.
Mr. Beautiful there. I thought for a second was going to be able to get the wrap around and be able to still get the hit, but not able to get there. But we are going to see the 3 out that way. Question is, which way is Kashak, Kashuk, Kashank, Kashak? I said it right at least once there. Now looking to, I'm not sure if maybe at this door or maybe going for the hatch play. We are not seeing the door open over here. I'm not even hearing
He
a
might have just been
hatch.
waiting for. Yeah, I don't. There we go. He probably stuck out the door behind D once D left the area.
But
Is what I am assuming.
a very, very impressive performance, though. All together, looking around from Deadheads on both the killer and the survivor sides, 85 points. That's impressive. That's one of the higher scores that we've seen thus far this season.
Yeah, definitely on the higher end of our scores right now. Okay. Yeah, definitely on the higher end of scores that we've seen this season so far. I don't think the highest we've seen though.
No, the highest was, I think, 95 or no, 97? 95 or 97. It was one of those two. So definitely
Pretty
isn't the
close to 100
highest.
there.
But, you know, we do definitely see a really, really strong performance there. And also, you know, we finally got to see, well, I shouldn't say finally, because it wasn't the first time that we have seen Legion come out, but we did, again, get to see one of the fan favorites, getting to see the Legion coming out for our last trial there. And, you know, things are, we had talked about it, like the season isn't over yet for Deadheads. They had a rough start, but now if you can string a couple more wins here at that, I mean, you could still possibly make a play for the playoffs, but you have to have a darn near perfect season.
Yeah, I think after this, Deadheads really can't afford any losses. I don't know if I think We Overslept might be past that point, but I would have to check I'm not really good with stats and numbers, guys, so I could be wrong there. Don't take that for granted. Don't take anything I say as final, but we're kind of at that point.
And the one tough thing though for Deadheads, we had talked before about how we Overslept was going to have to play Demise and Arctic Wolves, but actually Deadhead's next opponent is going to be the Arctic Wolves themselves, still sitting undefeated atop the Black Ward, the Cursed division. So that could be interesting though. I do gotta say though, if they end up coming out and if you're able to beat Arctic Wolves and take them down, you would still have to beat Demise, and you'd have to go against the Wrecking Crew you've already lost to this season. So you still got a pretty tough schedule, but it's doable.
Yeah, but why don't we ask someone from Deadheads how they feel about that directly? How are you doing today, Kashak? How do you say your name? I'm so sorry, I keep saying it wrong.
It's Kashak.
Kashak, okay.
So Kashak, how you feeling after the win?
It was pretty cool actually. I didn't know what to expect going in, especially with my killer game, but I could tell you that it was a shocking twist, you know.
Oh my god. Definitely a shocking twist. Was the plan the entire time for you to go in and play as the Doctor?
No, not until maybe yesterday. I was playing around with different killers and seeing what would work best in this situation. And eventually just decided upon Doctor. I felt like he had a good map control, enough to the point to where I could get what I wanted out of it.
I mean, we
And
saw a
is
really strong
this-
performance from it, so I mean, definitely paid off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So knowing that Thompson House is your guys' home map, do you guys still struggle with kind of deciding who you want to bring out? I know this is kind of like a weird map for some killers.
Yeah, so I joined maybe a few weeks ago on this team, so I haven't been here since the beginning, and I wasn't here when we picked the map. I don't like the map, so it is hard for me personally, in my own experience, to pick killers, because I don't have a very wide range to play.
Right.
And I know we have 3 more games on the same map in the next following week, so it's going to be a challenge for sure to find the right ones.
Definitely, but you guys still definitely have a lot of really good options available to you. So hopefully it won't be too difficult to figure out who is going to be the best pick.
Yeah, we do have a lot of options. I'm hoping we can at least provide some entertainment in the show in the following few matches.
Absolutely. So talking about your next few matches, is there anyone in particular that you guys are looking forward to facing or really worried about coming up against, knowing kind of your position in our season thus far?
I think we're both looking forward to and a little nervous about the next few matches that we're going up against, like Arctic Wolves, the teams that you were just talking about, you know.
Yeah.
All bring a lot to the table, and it's got to be something that we're going to try our best to match, if not overcome. But we'll have to see how that goes.
Hopefully not too much of a challenge for you guys. You guys have been, we've been seeing a lot of improvement as you guys have progressed through the season. So that's been really fun to watch. You also play Survivor. How were things on the Survivor side? Were you guys just able to keep up like really good communications to kind of stay away from where our killers were and keep each other on your feet?
I think I have a lot of experience with Oni because he's one of my mains. So that was the one thing keeping me going. As far as the chasing, I know how that kind of thing works, but I think our comms in general were pretty great. We had an idea, and I think when any team goes against an Oni, they're like, okay, this is exactly what we need to do. So you already have like that game plan of what needs to be done in order to kind of counter his power.
Sorry, my nose is itchy.
So at this point, you know, we've seen you guys, you know, making some very big strides here, right? Do you feel like there has been like a particular, I don't know if there's been any sort of like roster changes, or has it just kind of been a change in like schedule as far as like your guys' practice routine? Like what is kind of I feel like we've seen some pretty big strides the last couple weeks compared to the first couple weeks. Is there anything that you feel like has kind of helped like lead to that?
Like I said, I haven't been here for quite too long in this tournament on this team, so I'm not quite sure what the change was.
True,
And
fair.
I'm
You
not
did
gonna
mention
say
that
it was
earlier.
me.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I think we're just working together a lot better more recently, and getting that synergy as we play.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, I mean, I don't want to speak for like Shep, but I feel like I can definitely see at least the synergy on the Survivor side for sure. Every time you guys have come out has really come a long way.
Definitely will agree there, you guys. I feel like every time we see you come out, not to say that your gameplay was ever bad, but it's always like a step up every time you guys come out onto the field, especially on your Survivor side.
I'd hope so. I think that's what everybody should strive for, be a better version of yourself in game or out as we go along in life.
Well, before we
love-
get you out of here, is there anything that you want to say to like, the fans of Deadheads or Vigos or anything like that?
Thanks for the support. It's much appreciated. I like reading all the chat and seeing what people are saying. I'm a big fan of watching back these videos too, so I love the support from everybody, and I hope you guys are having a great holiday season.
Fantastic. Anything from you, Shep? Any questions before? I guess I asked him the last question before I asked if you had any other questions.
No, I think that's all right. I asked the questions I was going to ask. I actually had questions for once, which is, good job me. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us here today. Fantastic games, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds for you.
Of course. Thank you. See you guys next time.
See you next time.
All right. So I think this is the first time in a while that we are going to be wrapping up the 6 o'clock game on a Friday evening and not have a 9 o'clock broadcast coming afterwards. But we have a very, very full slate of games tomorrow, right?
We do. We have a full set of games for tomorrow. So all of our usual slots, 1, 3, 6, and 9, there will be a game, and they are going to be some good ones, folks. You don't want to miss them.
All right. And I don't. What's that one thing we have to do?
Well, I think as a judge, I'm supposed to say that Deadheads have been convicted of murder.
I love it. Chat, y'all have a good rest of your night. Be true, be you, be sincere, game hard, and love harder. We love y'all, man. Peace.
Happy holidays, guys. Be safe. Bye. Mwah.